Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Shrinavatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastoya Vadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवत्ये उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 73. देवयं नोदिता सर्वे प्रजा सर्गे प्रजेश्वरः अनेन ध्वस्तमसः तिस्रक्ष्मो विविधा प्रजा. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. When all the Prajapatis were ordered to create by Lord Brahma, we chanted these prayers in praise of Supreme Personality of Godhead and became completely free from all ignorance. Thus, we were able to create different types of living entities. Purport. In this verse, we can understand that the various types of living entities were created simultaneously at the very beginning of creation. The nonsensical Darwinian theory of evolution is not applicable here. It is not that intelligent human beings did not exist millions of years ago. On the contrary, it is understood that the most intelligent creature, Lord Brahma, was first created. Then Lord Brahma created other saintly sages like Marichi, Bhrigu, Atreya, Vasishtha, and Lord Shiva. They, in their turn, created different types of bodies according to karma. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila Deva told his mother that the living entity gets a particular type of body in accordance with his work and that this body is decided upon by higher authorities. The higher authorities, as appointed by Supreme Personality of Godhead, are Lord Brahma and all other Prajapatis and Manus. Thus, from beginning of creation, it can be seen that the first creature is the most intelligent. It is not that so-called modern intelligence has developed by the gradual process of evolution. As stated in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, there is gradual evolutionary process, but it is not the body that is evolving. All the bodily forms are already there. It is the spiritual entity or spiritual spark within the body that is being promoted by the laws of nature under the supervision of superior authority. We can understand from this verse that from the very beginning of creation, different varieties of living entities were existing. It is not that some of them have become extinct. Everything is there. It is due to our lack of knowledge that we cannot see things in their proper perspective. In this verse, the word dhvata tamsaha, dhvasta tamsaha is very important, for without being free of ignorance, one cannot control the creation of different types of living entities. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.331.1, Deva Netrena, bodies are awarded under the supervision of superior powers. How can the superior powers control the evolutionary process of living entity if they are not free from all imperfection? The followers of the Vedic instruction cannot accept the Darwinian theory of evolution, for it is marred by imperfect knowledge. Text 74. Athedam nityada yukto japanna vahitah puman achirachachreya apnoti vasudeva parayana. Translation. A devotee of Lord Krishna, whose mind is always absorbed in him, who with great attention and reverence chants this Strota prayer, will achieve the greatest perfection of life without delay. Purport. Perfection means becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna. As stated in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.28, Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakaha. The ultimate goal of life is Vasudeva or Krishna. Any devotee of Lord Krishna can attain all perfection, material gains, and liberation simply by offering prayers to him. There are many varieties of prayers to Lord Krishna chanted by great sages and great personalities, such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Krishna is known as Shiva Virinchi Nutam, Bhagavatam 11.5.33. Shiva means Lord Shiva and Virinchi means Lord Brahma. Both of these demigods are engaged in offering prayers to Lord Vasudeva Krishna. If we follow in the footsteps of such great personalities and become devotees of Lord Krishna, our lives will become successful. Unfortunately, people do not know this secret. Nate vidhu swarthagatim hi Vishnum. They do not know that the real interest and the highest perfection of life is to worship Lord Lord Vishnu, Krishna. Bhagavatam 7.5.31. It is impossible to become satisfied by trying to adjust the external energy. Without being a devotee of Lord Krishna, one can only be baffled and confused. To save living entities from such a calamity, Lord Krishna points out in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, Bahunam Janmanante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, a wise man surrenders unto me, knowing very well that I, Vasudeva, am everything. Such a great soul is very rare. We can achieve whatever benediction we want simply by becoming devotee of Vasudeva. End of purport. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can use today's lecture to purify myself. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to purify myself. I'm going to read by a couple of lectures, one by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj and another by His Holiness Prabhupada Swami Maharaj. Please pardon me if I add my own interpretation to this summary. Lord Shiva is telling the Prachetas here that after all the Prajapatis who are sons of Brahma chanted the prayers given by Brahma, acquired sufficient potency to perform the act of creation, they set about the task of populating the world. So before they could do that, they prayed to Lord Krishna. In this entire purport of verse 73, Srila Prabhupada is strongly condemning the modern understanding of how life is in different species was created. The current understanding of how life originated from non-living matter is not acceptable to Prabhupada. It is suggested by the scientists that at some point in some remote part of the world, simple life originated from matter. Then by further evolution, these simple forms of life became more complex. In this way, the development peaked at the human being who are the most complex. So Srimad Bhagavatam has presented this subject matter so perfectly that without being a biochemist or biologist, you can easily condemn this theory. Srila Prabhupada said many times, I am not a scientist, but due to my study of Shastra, I can challenge the scientists in their faces. The two theories of science or evolution that Srila Prabhupada was most against were Big Bang theory and evolution theory of Darwin. He did not care in front of whom he was speaking because his faith was based on Shastra. He challenged it boldly and authoritatively. Knowledge of Shastra is not based on sense perception. Vedas are coming from the Supreme Lord directly and have nothing to do with the defects and imperfections of this world. Modern evolution theory is very childish and foolish because it assumed life comes from matter. This is due to the power of Maya or illusion, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya aparat jnana. So when Maya kidnaps your intelligence, then when your knowledge is stolen by Maya, then these people can't accept the Supreme Lord and they come up with their own whimsical theories. So it is common sense to see that life comes from life and not from matter. There are several examples of matter coming from life, but there is not a single example which can provide that life comes from matter. At least let them make one ant, one cockroach in their lab. They are still trying to make it happen. Science is not advanced yet. Srila Prabhupada said the claims of these scientists are like post-dated check given by a bankrupt man to simply fool and deceive others. In Shastra, an example is given that sometimes a scorpion lays its eggs in rice, and when the eggs hatch after some time and baby scorpions come out of the rice, the foolish people think that it is rice that produced them. No, it was the eggs laid by the scorpion. So life doesn't come from matter. It has cause beyond the matter. So material nature is prakriti. Uh, just like a woman on her own can't give birth to a child. Similarly, material nature by itself can't produce life. Krishna, the Supreme, as Supreme Purusha, impregnates Prakriti with his glands, and all the jivas manifest. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 14.4, Sarvayoneshu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasaham Brahma Mahadhyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. So, Krishna is the supreme father of all living beings, and Prakriti is the mother. By the process of speculation and sense perception, it is impossible to understand this world. Scientists have not been able to understand this earth, what to talk about the whole universe and the multiple universes. Every day there is new discovery which surprises scientists and their theories keep changing. But the word of Shastra is permanent and fixed. An exact number of species and types are given in Puranas. This is called perfect knowledge and not the wild speculation of evolution and other theories. Perfect knowledge of creation uh, was used by Lord Brahma. He performed tapa and got empowered for this creation. The task of Lord Brahma was unimaginably difficult. Planet Earth is only one part of 14 planetary systems in the material creation, with each having uh, millions of species. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compared one universe to a mustard seed. There are millions of universes. So how many living beings are in these universes? That's complete with all varieties of species of life and mountains and trees and rivers and lakes and so much variety which are so complicated. So Brahma had the impetus to create, but we can see that uh, a mosquito who is so small, it can fly in any direction at once. It can reproduce, make another mosquito. So scientists are able to make a helicopter and plane, but they can't make even one mosquito. So what to talk about the creating the whole universe? So same thing we see here that just like Lord Brahma had the impetus, Prachitas also being asked to do so by their father to create Praja. So this material creation of universe and creating Praja, one may think of this as a material activity. And this is what Lord Brahma also placed this question in front of Lord Vishnu. He asked him, if I do this, I may very well become contaminated, particularly the contamination of thinking that I am the doer, I created this universe, I produce these children, they are my children, and I am the father, I am the mother. So thinking of this, I may get the doer mentality and that tendency. Um, so how can I be free from it? So the answer is Krishna consciousness. So if you do this by dovetailing, your devotional service, then you do not have that karta bhav. And this way we can overcome sense gratification and sense gratificatory urges. So Krishna says, whatever you do, you do it for me. When the goal of life, there is a discussion in Chaitanya Charitamrita between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Rai to discuss the goal of life. So uh, Krishna, so there this verse comes, Yat Karoshi, Yad Ashnashi, Yat Jahoshi, Dadashi, Yat Tapashyashi Kwanteya, Tat Kurushu Mad Arpanam. So everything we do, all our sacrifices, all our work we can offer to Krishna. Now, this is how Lord Brahma operated. And then we will see uh, later in this chapter that Lord Shiva says, by praying to the Lord, all desired objectives will be achieved without fail. So, if we can do that as a service, then we will be free from the reaction. For example, we may have a desire to build a big building, or we may have a desire to build a big temple. So when we build a big building for ourselves, that is sense gratification. But when we build a temple for the Lord, that is seva. Now we should not have the sense of proprietorship or uh, should not expect any respect when we are building the temple. So this is how you dovetail your uh, all your work with devotional service, and this is how you become cleansed and purified. So we should not have any interest in material things, and we should just focus on our devotional service, and that is the example given for Dhruv Maharaj also. So when he went to the forest, he wanted a kingdom, not just any kingdom, a big one, bigger than his father's, bigger than his father's fathers. So in the end, when Lord came in front of him, Lord provided him the kingdom, but Lord took away his desire to be ruling the kingdom. In fact, he was feeling very sorry that he asked for such contaminated motivation. So, how we can come to that consciousness? Our resolution should be that I want to please Krishna, and we need to connect all our desire to Krishna. All our selfish interest should be given up for Krishna's interest. In everything that I do, I should ask myself, am I going to please Krishna by doing this thing, or is this activity going to help me in advancing in my Krishna consciousness? And our ultimate desire should be to be with Krishna. That should be the goal of our life. That by every small activity I do, one day I will be with Krishna. And this way we can always think of him and always engage in his service. With this, I would like to end. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha